Hey, this is Sean with the Preparedness Connoisseur. Several of you have asked how I separate out my kefir from the kefir grains. So I decided to do a quick video. So first, we got to understand when it is time to go ahead and separate out the kefir. You see those bubbles there? That is whey and carbon dioxide. So when you see those, it is time. If you let it go any further than that, it's going to separate out really fast and you'll see a lot of whey at the bottom, which is fine. You can still use it. You're going to need a bowl, preferably glass, and a strainer. It's okay if it's metal, as long as you don't press too hard, you're not going to hurt the grains. You're also going to need whole milk, and you'll need a second jar with a lid. We'll begin by pouring the kefir into the strainer. Carefully, try not to make a mess. You'll see that it kind of looks lumpy, and you'll see the whey that is already running through, collecting in the bottom bowl. We're going to let that sit for just a little bit and strain. After it's sat for a few minutes, you'll see the whey collected in the bottom. Now, the longer you let it set on your counter, the more whey that you are going to get. Some people like to put the whey and the kefir all together, but I'm going to go ahead and pour off the whey and use it for another project. You can use it for baking sourdough bread and other things, or give it to your chickens. Now I'm going to use a soft spatula and gently start pressing the kefir down through the screen. As you work your way down, you'll start to notice the grains appear. They're kind of hard, and so they won't go through the screen. They look a little bit like cottage cheese. The grains reproduce fairly quickly, so it is time for me to separate these in half. Now that it's time to split the grains, I'm going to take half of them and put them into this miniature ball jar. And then I'm going to top it off with whole milk to right about there and put a lid on it, and I'm going to give this to somebody as their first grains. The rest of it I am going to scoop out of here into a clean ball jar and then clean up my mess. Then I'm going to top it off with whole milk to right about there. That's good. I like to use these little ball fermentation lids, but any fermentation lid will work. As the kefir does its thing, it's going to be releasing carbon dioxide gas, so you want to wait to vent that gas. You could also put a cotton towel over the top also, but this definitely keeps out any bacteria that you don't want in there. This will go back on the counter, and in about 12 to 24 hours, depending on how warm it is, it will be ready to strain off again. You can put this in the refrigerator for a few weeks and slow down the process if you are making too much kefir. The kefir that I've strained off, I'll put into this clean ball jar and just scoop it out. I'll put a lid on it, and it can go into the refrigerator for a few weeks. I like to let it sit overnight and get nice and cold, and it also tends to firm up a bit. So there you have it. It's pretty simple.